Hello, welcome to Podfic Galore. I'm your horrible online reader, Goldskythe. I read out loud fanfictions for you busy bees, free of charge and no strings attached. Today I will start reading a Naruto alternative universe fic by MisatosPenpen and PhoenixInnocence from Archive of Our Own called Scars. Note, the fic is rated explicit. I hope you can at least try to enjoy my voice, and I will try my best for you with the equipment available to me. On with the show. Scars by MisatosPenpen and PhoenixInnocence. Summary: FBI agent Sasuke Uchiha has gone missing. His colleagues investigate, suspecting his fugitive older brother is involved. But the reunited brothers are really searching for the person who did slaughter their family. It told me to follow these scars, before I'd be crushed by the weight of the world. Do you remember the sky of tears? That pain has given you protection, because this pain will always protect you. I'm sure that from the beginning you knew. I was the only one who wouldn't leave you again. I made you realize this is a sign for you. That pain has given you protection. I was told to follow these scars, and then there wouldn't be anything to be afraid of. Don't forget it, your reason for smiling. Signed by Flo. Chapter 1. Monday, November 9th. Kakashi Hatake sat at his desk openly reading his favorite erotic novel in full view of a dozen fellow FBI agents. Luckily, the cover wasn't very salacious. Genma Shiranui walked up, chewing on a toothpick. Why they haven't fired you yet, Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi had picked up the nickname while working as a trainer for the younger agents, when one of the rookies had started calling him Kakashi-sensei. The nickname caught on, but Kakashi normally only tolerated his former students to call him that. Genma was tolerated because they were partners. I'm too good at what I do, Kakashi answered without looking up. Genma placed a cup of coffee in front of his partner. Yes, you are the master, he said sardonically as he sat down. Kakashi's cell rang. Hatake, he answered, still not taking his eyes from the page. We'll be there presently, he said after a pause. He ended the call. Tsunade wants us upstairs. Kinwa entered serious mode and took out his toothpick. Kakashi slipped his book into an inside pocket of his suit jacket and led his partner upstairs. They practically ran into a boxing blonde as the elevator doors opened. Hatake! Tsunade exclaimed. Early for once? Wait in my office. What did Sasuke get himself into this time? Kakashi sighed. Wait in my office. We're waiting for some of your colleagues. Tsunade was flustered. Kakashi also entered serious mode and put out a hand to stop her. What's wrong? Sasuke's missing. Wait in my office. Genma had never seen Kakashi go pale in the 4 months they had been partnered. Kakashi obeyed without any witty banter, and he was silent as the pair went into their chief's office. Once the door shut, Genma asked the obvious question. Who's Sasuke? Sasuke Uchiha, my star pupil. An arrogant son of a bitch. Irritated because he's always right. A genius. But he has a strong sense of justice. He's brilliant. Kakashi swallowed. He became an agent because of his brother. His elder brother murdered their entire family. Their parents, uncles, and cousins. The only person he left alive was Sasuke. Once suspicion fell on him, he vanished. Sasuke's been looking for him since, using every civilian means possible. He became an agent to have access to our resources, but he also wanted to help people like himself. If he's gone missing, then maybe he found his brother. Or his brother found him. Genma had never heard Kakashi say so much or witnessed so much emotion from the man. Sasuke really was special to him. Genma didn't say anything. Didn't know what he could say. A blonde-haired man and a girl with hair that was very nearly pink entered the room. Kakashi-sensei! Sakura Harana cried out. She rushed toward him, but Kakashi didn't even have time to stand up. She hugged him, as awkward as it was with him sitting down. Genma took advantage of the view. Tsunade said Sasuke is in trouble. Do you know anything? Nothing. You? She straightened. No, just that no one's heard from Sasuke since Wednesday evening. It's Monday morning. He's been missing for 4 days and we're only now looking for him? Why didn't someone raise the alarm on Thursday? I don't know. Kakashi looked at Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde was clearly worried, but he was quiet rather than agitated. Kakashi was aware that he and Sasuke had been friends from childhood, as was Sakura. Another blonde joined them, a woman this time. Temari Sabaku was the most no-nonsense agent they had and could kill 5 men with a folding paper fan. She looked serious and determined all the time. Her pigtails were not childlike or innocent. They were thrust back and up in an aggressive way. She was one of the few who could hold her own against Kakashi on the practice mat. Behind her came the exact opposite in many ways. A scrawny young man with a severe black ponytail who always looked even more bored and disinterested than Kakashi. Shikamaru Nara looked like he would break if he tripped on the practice mat. In fact, he was a capable fighter, but his style was restricted, quick, up close, and used as little energy as possible. It was primarily intellect. Shikamaru looked around the room at the 4 others and muttered, "Troublesome." No one reacted because they were all used to his attitude. Tsunade arrived with another young man with her. Sasuke Uchiha has been missing since Wednesday evening when he left this building after finishing up work with his partner, Neji Hyuga. She indicated to the long-haired man with pale eyes next to her. He looked serious, but also worried and grieved. He'd lost his partner. After even just the first few weeks, being without one's partner made one feel like a shelled animal. And to have him dead or missing felt like a personal and professional failure. Why weren't we assembled on Thursday? Kakashi asked. Or Friday? I was covering for him, Neji said. I couldn't get a hold of him, but he'd done this twice before and I didn't think it was different. I thought his phone died and he might have over-imbibed the night before and I was letting him sleep it off. I got worried when I didn't hear from him all day. I kept trying his phone and went by his house, but there was no one there and his car was gone. I called the police and hospitals, but they knew nothing. I waited until this morning to inform Tsunade, hoping Sasuke would turn up. The faith and loyalty Neji was displaying made Kakashi feel happy that Sasuke had such a partner. He didn't, but the fact that Neji had delayed bothered him. Sasuke could have died in the 4 days he'd been missing, whereas they might have saved him had they acted faster. Was there anything unusual about Sasuke in the week leading up to his disappearance? Shikamaru asked Neji. He's always quiet, Neji said. But recently he's been missing bits of conversation and looking out windows more than he normally did. He'd normally stare at our case files or just lower his eyes when he was deep in thought, rarely at windows. Kakashi's eyes set hard. He knew Sasuke very well, and Neji was right. That was not like him. Out windows? Shikamaru asked. Did he look like he was looking for someone or fearing he was being followed? No, his gaze was fixed, or rather, he was looking through everything. How long has this been going on? I think he started zoning out about 12 days ago. Nothing seemed to spark his distraction? Nothing I knew about. You didn't ask? Sasuke kept to himself. He never shared his personal life with me. What about you, Kakashi? Shikamaru turned his attention to the most senior agent in the room, besides Tsunade. You and Sasuke are close. Sakura caught the hardness in Kakashi's eyes before he shoved it back, letting casual mien settle back over him. I last met him Tuesday night. He thought carefully about that night. We met at the restaurant. He talked about work, about Neji's perceptiveness. He smiled so that Genma suspected that was a joke. We talked about a new book. We have the same taste in literature. That earned him several disbelieving and disgusted looks. The rest was small talk that I can't even remember, but he seemed normal. He hesitated. No, I did notice he was distracted at times, but he was looking at something else in the room, so I assumed something just snatched his attention. He didn't mention anything about after dinner when they went back to Kakashi's townhouse and shagged half the night. He was lost for a moment, thinking about Sasuke riding him, bracing himself with his hands on either side of his head, leaning over him. He had to stop himself from thinking how beautiful Sasuke looked as he ground down onto Kakashi's cock. There was nothing during that time anyway that was worth mentioning to this group, nothing to do with his disappearance. What about you, Naruto? Shikamaru said. You've been friends with him for years. I noticed nothing. Last time I saw him was the last day he was seen. I saw him from across the lobby, and he nodded to acknowledge me, and then he and Neji left the building. The last time I really talked to him was... His eyes shifted. Sunday. Last Sunday, he clarified. We had lunch. I didn't think he looked distracted, and he didn't mention anything. He was totally normal. Sakura looked at him intently, but Naruto ignored her. What about the last time you saw Sasuke? Shikamaru asked Neji. Nothing strange? Was he more distracted than he had been? Did he get any calls? Texts? He was eager to leave, but that was a 50-50 thing with him. Sometimes I'd leave him here working. Sometimes he couldn't get out of here fast enough. That night was the latter. Although it was the norm for the last week, I have suspected he had a girlfriend, but I think he would have mentioned that to me. Kakashi and Naruto's eyes shifted, but no one noticed. What about his phone activity? His car? Phone's off. Calls go straight to voicemail, Temari said. We have a bolo on his Cadillac. Nothing. He, or whoever kidnapped him, turned off all the navigation and whatnot. Sasuke is not making a blip anywhere. The security company that protects his house will let us see the camera footage once we get a warrant. They did confirm that Sasuke did go home that night and then left about 11:20. Once we see the footage, we can see if he left alone or if he took anything with him. Have you searched his house? Kakashi asked. Warrant. The company protecting the house tried to have us arrested when we tried to get in, but they agreed to open the house once we get a warrant. They are awfully protective of their clientele. Kakashi's mixed-matched eyes narrowed. Isn't that a bit unusual? That level of zealousness? I've never encountered it before. The warrant should be signed by 11. As an agent, there's enough concern to speed up the process. Give me the information for the security company, Kakashi said, taking out his notepad. It's a small company, not one of the national ones, Temari said as she looked through her own notes. Heavy Security, owned by Orochimaru Sannin. Tsunade straightened. Heavy protects Uchiha's house? Yes, ma'am. Why does that surprise you? Orochimaru's my adoptive brother. I want to visit Hebi, Kakashi told her. She nodded. I'll make sure Orochimaru welcomes you. He's cagey, but a good man despite his looks. And I want to be among the first to search Sasuke's home. So do I, Naruto said. Tsunade looked between the two men. Have neither of you spent much time in his home? Yes, Kakashi said. Yes, Naruto said, but he knew how this would swing. Kakashi has the most experience at a crime scene, or a possible crime scene. You'd notice if anything was missing or disturbed. I would. You and Genma go in first. Neji, Naruto, and Sakura can go with the CSU right after you. But from what Temari said, I don't think any crime happened there. Go to Sasuke's house first. Once the warrant arrives, I'll call Hebi to have one of their men at the house to open the place and disarm the system. Then you can go chat with Orochimaru and see the surveillance footage. I want Kakashi and Genma on point. Naruto and Sakura, go over all the cases Sasuke and Neji worked on in the last 2 months. Neji, you will assist them. If you find nothing, go back further. Shikamaru and Temari will remain here to keep you patched up into the agency and coordinate between you. Contact them with any leads and they will report to me. Troublesome. Why didn't you tell them? Sakura asked Naruto once they were in Naruto's car. My relationship with Sasuke doesn't matter. It couldn't have anything to do with his being missing. Does Kakashi-sensei know about you two? If he knew, he probably would have called me out like you wanted to. You know how by the book he can be. I've not seen his eyes that hard since he was tracking that serial killer, Kakuzu. He always favored Sasuke. Sakura believed that if Sasuke hadn't contacted Naruto or Kakashi, he must be dead. Yeah, Kakashi-sensei was the only person Sasuke ever respected. He actually tried to comfort Kakashi when Kakuzu beat the rap and the case went cold. You know, if Kakashi finds anything revealing your relationship in Sasuke's house, he's going to be upset you didn't mention it. I know. He turned on the engine and headed for Sasuke's house. Kakashi and Naruto stayed in their parked cars with their partners. Neji arrived soon after with CSU. Shikamaru called with the news of the receipt of the warrant and that Hebi was sending someone to disarm the system. Soon, a big man with flame-like red hair arrived. Kakashi got out of the car to meet him. Special Agent Hatake, he introduced himself. Genma came up behind him. Agent Shiranui. Jugo, I'll let you in. Kakashi watched him carefully as they went to the front door of Sasuke's home. Jugo opened the door and turned off the alarm. Both the doorknob and the keypad had been dusted by Shikamaru and Temari before they were driven from the house by Hebi's people. Kakashi remained outside, watching him, trying to place the big man. He had a feeling he had seen him before. Jugo re-emerged, the door easing closed behind him. Jugo handed Kakashi the key, which Kakashi didn't need but accepted for appearance's sake. In all honesty, he knew the security code as well, but he really didn't want to admit it. Just hit the arm button on your way out. Have we met? Kakashi asked. You look familiar. Jugo stared at him in silence for a few moments, but in no way trying to recognize Kakashi. I've acted as Mr. Uchiha's bodyguard in the past as part of my job. Why did he need a bodyguard? Genma asked. He had a stalker, a red-haired girl. Kakashi took out his notepad. She still follows him every once in a while. Whenever she got too close, he called, and I came out to make her keep her distance or leave. He called me rather than the police, because she never fought me, and he didn't think she deserved to be arrested. She never assaulted him or broke the law. You know her name? Kakashi asked. Karin Kusa. Long red hair, glasses, always wore short shorts or skirts, trying to attract his attention. Kakashi's cheek twitched with amusement. The only reason that would get Sasuke's attention is a possible arrest for indecent exposure. Thank you. You know of any other problems he had? No. He always asked for me because we were college acquaintances. He never mentioned any problems except Karin. Suigetsu Hozuki was also a friend of ours. I don't know if they're still in contact or how to get a hold of him. Thank you. If you think of anything else. Kakashi held out a card. Jugo took the card. I hope you find him safe. He left without another word. Kakashi put his notepad away and stepped up to the unlocked door. He let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding when the door to Sasuke's house opened. It looked exactly the same as always. Sasuke was fond of simple black and white. Immaculate white carpet, black furniture, white walls, white accessories like the unused ashtray, coffee table coasters, flower vases with white orchids. Above the black stone-framed fireplace hung the katana Kakashi had given him for his birthday a few months ago. Its black sheath and black ito wrappings complemented the decor. The kitchen was the same, and not a speck of dust out of place. This place seems too clean, Genma commented. Usually the sign of a disturbed mind. Kakashi ignored him and crouched to look at the carpet. Sasuke always removed his shoes at the door, as did any sanctioned visitors. There were no shoe prints in the plush carpeting. Sasuke's comfortable but business-appropriate shoes were gone. His sneakers and normal Italian leather shoes were there, and his house slippers were kicked off next to them, the only thing so far out of place. Kakashi peeked into the general bathroom as it was on the way to the bedroom, and it was undisturbed. The bedroom was darker than the rest of the house. Everywhere else it was black, white, and modern. The bedroom was warm and more congenial to sleep. The walls were garnet-colored, and the carpet was black. A few more swords on the walls, and a 3-tiered sword rack on the dresser with a katana, wakizashi, and tanto. The comforter on the queen bed had a custom black and red pattern, the logo of his family's company, Sharingan. The rest of the house was elegant. This was a sanctum. The room was quite large, and Sasuke wasn't type to spread out, so he had his desk pressed into a corner of the room. It was mostly clean. The stack of papers were all case files he and Neji were currently working. Those would be given over to Neji, Naruto, and Sakura to review. There was a large mug on a coaster, not the same kind of coasters as the ones in the living room. This was old, stained, worn leather. Kakashi knew it was from the FBI Academy. He could see some of the words that were pressed around towards the edges of the round coaster were fading from the hundreds of heavy mugs sitting on it over the last few years. Kakashi leaned over the mug and inhaled. "I'll bet you $1,000 it's Ceylon tea." "No bet," Genma said. "You know this guy." There were a few white napkins on the desk too that had the imprint of a glass, obviously used as a second coaster. He looked at the knickknacks Sasuke had tucked around the base of his large monitor. There was a black lacquered Japanese bowl with a kanji for fox on it. The inside of the bowl was red, and it held a pair of earrings, a silver necklace with a rectangular Japanese-style pendant with the Uchiha clan symbol, and a wedding ring with diamonds and rubies. Kakashi knew those were all Sasuke's mother's. The katana letter opener Kakashi gave him lay next to it, his first gift to the young Uchiha. There were 2 figurines. A glass Kirin with gold hooves, horns, mane, and tail, and a white statuette of the Japanese god Inari, flanked by 2 of his messenger foxes. Kakashi was familiar with all these objects, but not the fox necklace in front of the Inari statuette. It was a 9-tailed fox pendant, and the cord it was on was broken. It wasn't familiar to Kakashi, and Sasuke never wore necklaces. Kakashi took out an evidence pack, turned it inside out, and grabbed the necklace with it, bagging it in the process. He also noticed that the glasses Sasuke kept on his desk were gone. Sasuke had excellent vision, but he didn't like to strain his eyes, so he had a pair of low magnification glasses with a UV glare coating and a slight tint to avoid eye strain. Kakashi made a note to ask Neji if Sasuke kept these with him or not. He was under the impression they were just for when working at home. He was sexy as all hell in them. Kakashi had fucked him more than once while he wore them. Kakashi turned to the trash can. First, he went out to the linen cupboard in the hall and brought back a white towel. He laid the towel over the bedspread and carefully poured out the trash. He shifted through it with his gloved hands. A few tissues, about 100 empty edamame pods that had the distinct odor of garlic coming off them, and a few pieces of scrap paper. There were notes of song titles he must have heard on the radio and bought when he got home. The name of a book Kakashi suggested he read. Kakashi looked over at Sasuke's nightstand and saw the book there, the receipt stuck inside as a bookmark, prices next to store names to compare prices of something costing around $400, receipts for takeout, some junk mail, and empty bill envelopes. Next, he checked the desk drawers. Normal supplies until he got to the last one. He froze when he opened it. Sitting face up was a framed photograph of Mikoto Uchiha, Sasuke's mother. She was smiling down at the baby Sasuke in her arms as he reached up to tug at her long diamond earrings. All he could think was, poor boy. He reverently closed the drawer. Kakashi opened the small filing cabinet next to the desk that also acted as an extension of the desk. Inside were the bills. Internet, electricity, water, gas, cable, cell phone, Sasuke didn't have a landline, and credit card. Kakashi took that last one out and examined it. Netflix, iTunes, Amazon, Jaws, A, Bank, and a charge Kakashi knew was a subscription to a porn site. He smirked at the last. That solved the mystery of his choice of positions. Absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. He checked last month's statement and it was nearly identical. Kakashi was glad to see the anal young man also printed out his banking statements. Almost all food, gas, and bills. If it wasn't for the fact Sasuke could be in danger or even dead, Kakashi would be enjoying the freedom to poke around Sasuke's personal stuff. He checked the dresser drawers and found his gun collection and ammo under his clothes. His government issue 45 was missing and there were boxes of ammo for a 9mm, but no such gun. Kakashi took a moment to familiarize himself with Sasuke's arsenal, as he hadn't seen these before. Kakashi called Shikamaru. Get a list of all the guns registered to Sasuke. He has bullets for a 9mm, but no 9mm. It's missing. Keep an eye out for it if they end up on the streets or pawned.
Got it. What about his sidearm?
It's not here. A 45.
I've got the list of Sasuke's guns. ZigP 226 9mm tactical operations model, part of their elite series. That would be the one that's missing.
Shikamaru listed the rest of them as he read the report.
Smith & Wesson M325 Night Guard 45 revolver.
Wait, that one isn't here either.
Understood.
Shikamaru continued the list, but all the rest were present.
I'll get an APB out on the 3 missing guns.
Kakashi, Genma said. Hold on. Kakashi said into his phone and gave his attention to his partner.
His gun's hanging on the back of one of the chairs in the dining room.
How did I miss that? Kakashi went in the dining room and on one of the chairs around the table, angled in such a way that it was hidden, was the gun in his shoulder holster. Kakashi put the phone on speaker and put it on the table. Shikamaru, his government issue is here. Kakashi pulled the gun out and checked the magazine and the chamber. Full and nothing in the chamber. He sniffed the barrel. It's not been fired. The magazine's full. From what the security company said, Sasuke left on his own. I think he left his official sidearm and took his personal weapons. Whatever he's doing, it wasn't official business.
Understood. I'll change the alert.
Shikamaru ended the call. Kinma followed Kakashi back to the bedroom and stood in the doorway and just watched as Kakashi turned to the boxes under the bed. Kakashi knew what was in one of them, but he checked it just in case, keeping the lid up to obstruct Genma's view. The good old sex toys. Nothing Kakashi wasn't familiar with. The ones he didn't have personal experience with were probably for when Sasuke was alone. The next box was just crap. Small things that he stored away. Closet and personal bathroom were normal too. He checked the guest bedroom, nothing disturbed or out of place. Then the last room. Kakashi already knew, but he checked to see if anything had been moved. This room was filled with boxes of stuff from Sasuke's family home. Everything he was left with when his family was killed that he didn't throw out or sell. They were all still taped up and stacked just as Kakashi remembered them from about 6 months ago. There was absolutely nothing wrong. The only thing that jumped out to Kakashi, other than the fox pendant and the absence of Sasuke's glasses, was that it didn't look like Sasuke packed anything for an extended absence. All agents kept an emergency suitcase ready in case they were sent out of town on a job, and Kakashi was sure that it was in the trunk of Sasuke's car. He had 3 days of clothes in there. Have Naruto and Neji take a look, then see as I can try their luck, but there's nothing here, Kakashi told Genma. The most unusual thing about the house was now absorbing Genma's attention. A pair of Japanese shrines against the living room wall between the front door and the hall to the bedrooms. That's Kamidana, and that one is Atamaya, Kakashi explained. Sasuke's family is Japanese. The Kamidana is dedicated to the Japanese god Inari, which their family particularly revered. The Tamaya is dedicated to the memory of his dead family. He prayed every night. He would pray and ring that bell and sometimes light the incense or leave a cup of sake or food there for them. Weird. Morbid, maybe. Kakashi knelt in front of the Tamaya and solemnly promised the dead Uchiha that he would find Sasuke. He used a small rod to ring the bell and he stood. Let's go. As they were walking out, Kakashi stopped in front of Neji. Did Sasuke normally wear a second gun? Ankle holster. A small snub-nosed revolver. A 6-shooter. Any other gun? No, not that I'm aware of. Did he ever carry a pair of glasses with him? Very rarely. 2 of his guns are missing, as are his glasses. You guys are up. We'll be at Heavy. Call if you find something. Don't forget to grab the case files on his desk and make sure the computer's analyzed. Naruto, Neji, and Sakura walked through the house, but they all felt it was useless. The place was immaculate, and Kakashi had already been through it. Naruto just peeked into the bedroom and saw the trash laid out on the bed and was sure there was nothing else he could tell from looking in there. He was embarrassed by the memories of the bed anyway. They all ended up looking at the pair of shrines. This is depressing, Neji said. I don't have any kind of shrine to my father. I can't imagine how much pain he must still be in to keep these up. Yeah, he told me about these, Naruto said. He said he promised his family every night that he would find Itachi. Maybe he's finally trying to fulfill that promise. I hope he's alright, Sakura said, even though she felt in her heart that Sasuke was dead. Naruto knelt in front of the Tamaya like he'd seen Sasuke do and tapped the bell, then promised to help Sasuke. Naruto pulled up to the FBI field office after they left Sasuke's house. As Sakura got out, Naruto started searching the car. What are you looking for? Sakura asked. My necklace. That multi-tailed monstrosity you always wear? Don't insult Kurama! Its name is Kurama? I thought it was... What was his name? Tails from Sonic? No! I would never wear something like that. To work, he added in a lower voice. When did you lose it? Since Naruto kept it under his shirt, Sakura hadn't noticed it was missing. 2-3 weeks, but it's really worrying me. I mean, I should have come across it by now. I'm starting to think it's gone for good. It was my favorite. Your best friend, your boyfriend, is missing and you're worried about a necklace? I got it in Japan at a Buddhist temple, and the guy was telling me that the 9-tailed foxes are the most enlightened. It's really special to me. Sasuke gave me the money as a gift to buy myself something I wanted on that trip, and I used some of it for that necklace. I sort of felt it was a gift from him in a way, you know. You're desperate to find it because Sasuke is missing. Yeah, sort of. Naruto thought about how Sasuke would sometimes tug on it, scratching at his throat as Naruto rode him. It was something Sasuke touched, something that he felt kept him connected to his lover. I'll keep an eye out and ask around, Sakura said more gently. Thanks, Sakura. Neji just pulled up. Let's get upstairs and start on Sasuke's cases. Right.